G'day guys, Jonno here from Jonno Down Under. Today we're going to take the Isuzu NPS onto the beach for its first beach run. We're also going to test out to see how these Founders tyres work. What we've done is we've dropped down the tyres now to 30 psi in the front and 35 in the rear. So we're going to get onto the beach and we'll see how we go at those pressures. So let's get on with it. And the Stockton tyre deflators to deflate the tyres here on the Isuzu. Now they're starting pressures at 30 psi. So what we're going to do is we're going to set them to their 30 psi. We'll let the tyres down to that, and if I need to I'll pump them back up, but I'll see if I can't get a little bit more out of these anyway. So we'll let the tyres down, we'll put them on. We can also use the valve remover gauge that we've got, but I just bought these, so I thought I'd give these a bit of a crack. So these fellas just simply screw onto your tyre, you set them to the desired pressure, and they let the air down to where it needs to be. It's as simple as that. There you go, these Stockton tyre deflators have just deflated the tyres. They've got these front ones down to 30, which is probably where I want it to be. So what they've done is we've just set them to the 30 psi, which is the maximum pressure they can be let down to. Set them down, no dramas at all, and as you can see, the Founders tyres have actually ballooned out quite well. You can see that we've got a good track size on the ground now, so hopefully that's going to assist us there when we get up onto the sand dunes there today. So just before we head up onto the beach today, we're going to throw the old pie into the travel buddy. So I'll put it on low, so by the time we come off the beach later, we'll have some lunch here ready. So we'll pull him out, pop him in there. I'll set him on low here, probably only go around halfway. Put the old timer on for an hour. Job done, so when we come back those pies will be heated up ready to go. Right, I'm on now. 64. Righto.
You know, I've never ever, oh, except for once, that's not never ever, is it? Got bogged. Bogged? Yeah.
Oh, I've been bogged plenty of times.
No, I've been bogged, but not, I mean, not badly bogged, not where I couldn't get out, except for once.
Well, I've had to be dug out by excavators, mate.
Have you? Yeah, I've only got once. Been talking around. Oh, he's coming through too. We won't have a head on, will we?
No, I'll just quite
Slow down.
breaking in.
No, well, I mean, they should have more respect. That's what I have.
This is why they keep closing the beaches.
Yeah.
Like today, the lady said, it's closed because if you go down there and the surf's up, instead of these guys doing the right thing, they'll climb up over the dunes, you know? They're trying to get the vegetation growing. A bit cool.
I've stayed over here, we've stayed in the boat, we stay in the dune, on the border, up and just back a bit.
Yeah.
And you people come across you, don't come over the top of us.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can't camp up here anymore, can you?
But you used to be able to ride over on the dune before the bloody horrible game, yeah? You used to be able to drive the dunes and all that.
Yeah.
That's what they used to play.
I think you still can down this end, but not down the other end.
really.
It's pretty soft though.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think low range might up.
You're on hard sand though, so people are on 9 minutes, and next to that is 20, then you've got over 21 road.
I'll have the momentum, but anyway, I'll see how we go.
Where? It should climb up here easy now. Look at that, no problem.
No dramas, yeah. So I think on the this is soft sand here.
It's actually got a lot of weight on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 100%.
It's not like the other cars, the racing cars.
I think the tyre pressures seem to be alright. I think it was just trying to work out where we needed to be in the gearbox.
We'll find out. We'll find out what we eat. Don't quite miss your tyres around.
How do you know what colour? That's just 23 purple.
Maybe a little bit more off the battery. Might let a little bit more out of the front ones maybe.
Where's it?
Bloody,
I think it was Cel-Fi, I think. But it's these cars thinking they couldn't get up it. And they're backing down and going up and trying again.
Yeah.
My brother will got it up, drove straight up over the top of it. You think? Yeah. All these fucking high priced cars.
I think it was Cel-Fi.
A little bit more out. You go forward a bit, you see pull over here and get on the flat sand, we'll have a look at it.
not working as hard.
So they need an heater on.
No,
Heater on.
no. Yeah, come on. Motor's probably just swapping.
No, it's a bloke must be sat on the window, you know.
Yeah.
I've got a t-shirt on.
Turn around.
Did you stop then?
Yeah. Just want to see how we go from the start. So probably low range. Yeah, well, we're going, yeah.
So no, sometimes you've got to watch with the digs in.
Yeah, see how you got it really feathery. So we're not blocking in now, PTA. No. Like, that was a hill start on the sand.
There you go, you couldn't get over here before, so you go now.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
It's the next one.
But yeah, this, I meant the whole lot.
Oh, yeah,
Going
yeah.
this
No,
way.
no, that's right, yeah. Being up there stuck. Oh, this is the one here, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Better.
Didn't even flinch, did it, Pete?
That's better up.
Oh, you couple of pound back when you get down to it, isn't it?
That's all it takes, mate, yeah. I remember one car I had, buddy, if you didn't put it down to 14, it would not go on the sand. You could put it on 16.
Wouldn't do it?
Nah, wouldn't do it.
No, the Troopy was the same. I had to get that down to 12.
Put it on 14.
Yeah. But because we're running truck tyres, and what are we running? We're running 6.5 tonne, I suppose, by the time we're sitting in front.
Hey,
Hey? Oh, you know, easy, mate. You had a couple of beers last night, mate.
and dinner.
Yeah, that's right. You got the free ribs, didn't you, mate?
I have to go back next week and say, I'm not sure I like then. Can we try them again?
Yeah, that's just easy now, isn't it, Keithy? Walking up that, mate, that's better now. Yeah.
And you're going in the middle, you're not going on tracks, so that's better up.
No, well, that's right. I want to be fair dinkum, you know, to see what we can and can't do, you know. Wasn't looking real good there a minute ago, though, was it? Well, that's the idea of coming out today, is to check these tyre pressures, I suppose, and see just what we can do with these tyres. But
Yeah, 20, 30.
yeah, especially today, it seems like it's a good test day for it, because this sand, that's incredibly soft out there today, isn't it? Look at
Yeah.
it.
Oh, up you go.
There we go, this one. There you go, look at that. That was a pretty big tune, eh?
There's your temperature, mate.
Yeah, good, halfway. ABS lights on, don't know what that's all about. just come off the beach. We've probably been on there for probably a good hour going up and down the dunes, as you'll see on some of that footage that we've taken. We ended up coming up with the pressures on the rear at around 30 psi, and we ended up running about 22 psi on the front. The sand today was fairly soft and it was up and down. We're just feeling the temperature of the tyre up the top. They're cold as, and when you come down to the sidewalls, it's a little bit, but it's not much. It's fairly cool. I'd say it's even cooler than what they are at normal highway temperatures. So these tyres seem to handle the beach and the low pressures quite well. As you can see, they bagged out very well at the back. As I said, we started off when we come onto the beach. We initially had the pressure at 35 at the rear and 30 at the front, but we just had some troubles on some of them steeper dunes, so we dropped it even further. It probably was a big ask for the truck being as big as it was, but we just wanted to see what these tyres could actually do. And as an overall performance today, we're incredibly happy with it. So what we'll do now is we're going to blow the tyres up. We'll get them back to highway temperature, and I'll just show you how it's a highway pressure. And I'll just show you how quickly the twin ARB compressors can actually blow these fellas back up for us. So today we're going to blow our tyres up using our twin ARB compressor. So what I'll do is we'll plug the valve in and we'll blow the tyres up, and we'll do a comparison between how quick the pressure's going up to a stopwatch. So you can see for yourself exactly how quick this compressor will blow up these 37-inch tyres on this truck. And we're on the stopwatch, and I'll put this valve on. Let's see how long it takes it to get it to pressure. Right, so while the tyres are inflating, what we're going to do is we'll grab out the pie we put in the travel buddy earlier. We'll grab him out. I might grab a glove, hold on. There we go, and now I've got the glove. What we'll do now is we'll pull that pie out of the oven that we put in there earlier before we got up onto the dunes, and while those tyres are inflating, we'll have ourselves some lunch. So there you have it. As soon as I finished my pie, washed the dish up when I dried it, as soon as I did that, the compressor stopped on the final tyre. It was as simple as that. It was a fair advantage too, having the ARB pressure control valve, because I just set the rear tyres, for example, at 88 psi and the front ones at 80. As soon as it hit temperature, the compressor shuts down, sounds off an alarm, and you move it to the other one. So it took us probably 15 minutes or just a little bit under from the time we undone the valve on the first tyre to doing the valve up on the last tyre. So just enough time to eat a meat pie, have a drink and do the dishes. It was as simple as that. So I'd say it's a big thumbs up for me for the ARB twin compressors. Even when it started getting up into that 80 psi range, you can see from earlier from the shots that we took, it didn't struggle at all. The pressure just kept going up and up, and I will at some other time. I'll do a video to see how long it takes it to get from 0 to 100. But today, this is just the first time it was on the beach, and we're just experimenting with how our pressures went, etc. Anyway, I'd say today it's a big thumbs up. Well, there you have it. We went from 30 to 88 psi in just a little over 3 minutes. How good is that? So 3 minutes per tyre, that's 6, that's 12 minutes plus a little bit in between for undoing and doing other valves. Let's say 15 minutes and you can be out of here and back on the road at highway pressures. 3 minutes per tyre, I tell you what, I don't think you'll get much better than that. Right, I'm on now. 64. Righto. there you go. Just inflated the tyres back there, as you said, probably I don't know, 15 minutes all said and done. Had ourselves a pie, bit of lunch, and now we'll just sort of head on back home. But a bit of a recap on today, I suppose. When we started and we went up the dunes initially earlier today, we were bogged pressures. We started off at 35 in the rear, I think it was, and 30 in the front. It was a bit like got across the sand okay, but when it come down to the dunes, it was a little bit more tricky to get up and down the dunes. So we further let our tyres down, and we ultimately ended up with the pressures of what we end up with 22 psi in the front, and 22 psi in the rear, and 30 psi in the front is where we ended up. And basically, when we got to those pressures, I'd go as far as saying that the truck was pretty well unstoppable. There wasn't too many, there wasn't any dunes at all that we couldn't get over. But as you could see too by the footage, everyone waving. As you can see by the footage though, when we had our lower pressures, it did get stuck on one of the dunes. But to be fair to the truck too, it was a fairly steep dune. But look, after we reduced the pressures, we were able to whip up and down those dunes without any problems at all. So tyre pressure is key. The good thing is though, I suppose too, is that if you are worried about the tyres and how long you can go, just leave the tyres up. It'll still travel on the beach all right, but when you get into that soft sand and you're trying to go up a fairly steep incline, you know, that's when you do need to let it down. And look, I would say the Isuzu was as good as any other four-wheel drive when it was on the beach here today. I'd actually go as far as saying better. There was plenty of four-wheel drives getting bogged around us because it was fairly soft sand. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell. Well, I guess in a summary, the Founders tyres, yeah, look, we're incredibly happy with them. I mean, for an aggressive mud tyre, if you like, on the 19.5-inch rim, I think they're doing an absolute superb job. They really are. I think they're doing a wonderful job. You know, so far on the bitumen, they've performed well. On the dirt roads, they've performed well, and now on the sand, they've performed well. So at this stage, really can't fault them. And as you can see, the wear on the tyres, well, it's probably where I'd expect it for any mud tyre on any four-wheel drive. I don't think it's any much worse than what they'd be. If anything, it's probably better. And I'll tell you what too, I'm even really impressed with how these tyres have actually handled on the front of the truck with the alignment, because you know we've got an MPR truck with the truck tyres on it, and mate, those things push into the corner and scrub out like no man's business. So yeah, really am impressed with how these big tyres are actually handling the front of the truck. Alright guys, I think that's just about sort of covered it. If anyone's got any questions or comments or anything they need to know, just simply ask and I'll do my best. The old radio in, and I'll do my best to answer them, guys. Yeah, but if you've had the tyres or similar experience too, let me know, because I'd love to see what sort of pressures you guys are using and how you're finding the tyres, how they're handling it for you as well. Anyway guys, until next time, it's Jonno Ange from Jonno Down Under. Thanks very much. Cheers.